I hope you're ready to take your new skills to the test. In this final challenge, you're going to take your skills that we learned throughout this playlist of sessions, and we are going to now use them and how we can use them in our classroom to really support our students' needs when it comes to designing a lesson, activity, tools that we can use right away. So I want you to think through, how can we use SchoolAI for lesson planning, engagement, classroom routines, and student voice? So let's go ahead and dive into the grand finale as we explore all of these great ways. When it comes to this session, we're going to really start to be able to confidently design lessons with SchoolAI. We're going to identify teacher pathways for success, practice taking a lesson idea and creating something to use right away. We're also going to explore ready-made toolkits that have been created for a lot of different subjects and use cases to help you think through other ways that you could engage and use SchoolAI to support instruction. So when it comes to teacher success, I like to think of it in 4 different pillars. One is lesson design. How can we use SchoolAI to support our lesson design to make planning faster, sharper, and more personalized? When it comes to classroom management, how can we support our classroom routines, voice, and structure? Student engagement. We want to spark our thinking and keep our students' minds active and engaged. Then there's also voice and ownership, where we want to foster voice, differentiation, and agency to really support our students with taking ownership of their learning. Lesson design. We want to think through, how can I make my planning faster, more sharper, more personalized? And this is where I like to use Dot to support me with lesson design. I can open up schoolai.com, and when I sign in, we're able to go over to assistants. From here, we're able to chat with Dot. And with Dot, I can ask Dot to help me lesson plan a certain standard, or I can upload a file that I might already have, and I'm able to share different ways that I can really brainstorm what is it that I need support with when it comes to creating with SchoolAI. I have a thought partner that can really support me as I'm going through and helping my students. So for example, I am teaching 5th grade. So when I'm chatting with Dot, I really like to share that I am a 5th grade ELA teacher. I need a catchy lesson to support my students with claims, evidence, and reasoning. What's great is Dot is able to pick up those acronyms of CER. And so I'm able to come in and I really want to focus in on that CER lesson plan. We can see here that Dot has kind of given us this lesson about the great cookie debate on different ways that we can use AI to really support. I can also come in here and say, give me 10 ideas I could use in my lesson. So again, Dot just gave me one idea, but maybe I want 10. And I can see right here we've got mystery bag hook, a gallery walk evidence hunt, color code, CRE, and I can grab one of these activities and ask Dot to help me understand this a little bit more. Build out lesson 6. And again, I can kind of come in and I'm able to take these ideas that I gather from Dot and really build out my lesson plans and ideas to support my students' thinking. I can also ask Dot to help me with lessons questions that I might want to use for my classroom. This is a great way to really support my students' learning as well. If you need that resource in a document or in a slide deck, all you have to do is ask Dot for that resource in that table or in that document that you might want. Then you're able to easily export these resources right to use in your classroom. Another way that we might use SchoolAI is with classroom management. And as an instructional coach, sometimes I like to already come in and have spaces created that I can use with teachers. So as a teacher, you can actually come in and create spaces that you're able to use as an instructional coach or as a teacher leader. And so some of the spaces that I really love to create and use with my students is maybe through executive functioning skills. Maybe there are some resources when it comes to standard operating procedures that your district has outlined. What happens when we're working through group work, when we're stuck, when we're translations, when we're working through start and end of class? There's all of these different standard operating procedures. And what we can do is we're able to upload resources into SchoolAI to create spaces where teachers are able to interact and co-construct those standard operating procedures. So again, as a coach or teacher leader, you can upload resources into a space and then share it out with teachers to brainstorm ways that they can overcome some type of classroom management or obstacle in their class. So that is more if you're an instructional coach or that teacher leader or an administrator. But if you just have a problem, you can also come over to assistance and brainstorm with Dot. With Dot, I can come in and share my problem. I have a class of students and there are 30 students in there, and 10 of my students are very, very chatty. And I don't know what to do to get them excited about this learning that we're about to do when it comes to the water cycle. I can share with Dot kind of what my problem is. You'll notice that sometimes I like to use that voice to text to really get out my thoughts and my ideas of what I might be struggling with. And Dot can really help me. From here, it has, kind of a quick opener that I can do. I can talk positive activities. I can do a hands-on mini demo, right? I have sentence frames. My students are often off task. How do I get their conversations to be about the water cycle? So again, I can share with Dot those problems that I might have in my classroom. Maybe I have some students that are bored and they're acting out because they're bored and I need some extensions. Or maybe I have students that aren't getting it and they don't want to feel stupid in front of the rest of the class. Here we can see that it has turned the chatter into different sentence stems to help them. There's also this target team talk ticket. There's also a rotating roles and timer, a prompt stick. So I have a bunch of different ideas that I can choose from to help support me when it comes to classroom management. So again, you could either create a space for classroom management or for professional learning when it comes to supporting educators, or teachers can just go over to assistance and start chatting with Dot with their problem, and they're going to get ideas right away. Student engagement. This is a great way that we're able to support student engagement. We can either create anticipation stations or even support students in a space where maybe they're doing a project-based learning activity. You can use that space designer. If we go back into our assistants, we have our space designer that can help us build those designing and engaging spaces for our students. But also, I like to sometimes brainstorm with Dot. And when I'm brainstorming with Dot, that engagement activity, sometimes I like to do anticipation stations where students can come in and they can either do different activities that I have co-created with Dot. First, they're going to agree or disagree. They have not learned this topic yet, so I'm building background knowledge. And that's what's great about SchoolAI is we can build background knowledge. We can support every single piece of that learning progression to support students towards mastery. Here I have this agree or disagree, where students are going to agree or disagree, and then they're going to add why they think that. After that station, there's also a picture prompt where students can work as a group with a picture and answer these 3 questions, building their vocabulary, supporting their knowledge. Then there's a SchoolAI space where students can rotate into the SchoolAI space to learn a little bit more about a certain ecosystem part. Maybe I want to learn more about a pond where another student can learn about an ocean or a forest. Students can ask questions, learn more through this space, and build that background knowledge as they're learning about the ecosystem. So again, having that student engagement can be a great way to really support students every single step of that learning progression. There's also student choice and ownership, where we're able to use mission control data to really help guide our instruction in our classroom. We learned how we are able to go into that mission control data and we can grab that CSV file to get more data. Oftentimes when I'm in this space, I can kind of download this CSV file, and what I'm able to do is I'm able to go chat with Dot. And I can ask Dot to help me create a list of glows and grows for my students. I can quickly print out that document and cut them up and share them with my students so they know where they can grow, where they need more help. I have spaces where my students can foster their voice, and through that think, pair, share, where they think first in the space, they share out loud with the group, and then they dive in by having that classroom discussion. We're able to also support differentiation and building student agency as well. So think through how you can use student choice and ownership to really support your students by using mission control. One way I really like to do this is with writing. I have an activity called Beat the Computer, where I'll create a SchoolAI space and I'm able to upload a rubric and activity that will support my students with their learning. Once I have that rubric and activity uploaded, ready to go for my students, then I'm able to have them try to beat the computer. They input their pre-test scores first. Then at the end of the week, after we use Dot to analyze their information, how they did on their writing, we will then use that space again and they will see how they've improved. Students have a lot of excitement and motivation around writing because they want to try to beat the computer and beat that feedback to get a better score. And so now what I want you to do is I want you to take a moment and I want you to dive into these toolkits. There are toolkits in this folder and this list is continuously growing. And with these toolkits, once you open one up, you're going to be able to notice that it has like a persona. Who is this for? Then from here, I can see how I can make magic, our mission. If you forget what a space is or how a space can help students, there's quick videos right here to support you. There's also these little tabs here, which will take you along. Quick wins. There's quick ways that you're able to use spaces with your students. There's also some ideas of how you can use the bell ringer, pulse checks, topic explorer, even the historical figure for students that might be gifted. From here, there's a starter pack with a couple different space ideas that you're able to click and relaunch with your students to get them thinking and exploring content in a new way. There's also ways for you to level up. So explore these toolkits. Think about how you are able to get started, have those quick wins, explore those space ideas, and reuse them in your classroom to create those moments that matter. So consider, what is one way that you are able to use SchoolAI to really support a real need in your classroom? Think about that pillar that we talked about at first. Are you struggling with lesson design, classroom management, student engagement, or choice and ownership? Pick a problem that you want to start solving and use SchoolAI as your co-teacher to help you brainstorm solutions to be able to support your classroom right now. And so again, we confidently designed lessons with SchoolAI and we were able to identify teacher pathways for success. We also practiced taking some lesson ideas and using dot and spaces and mission control to really help us. And now what I want you to do is I want you to take some time and explore these toolkits on how you can engage your students even more using SchoolAI.